Philly's real estate agent. And today I wanted to talk about something that a question that I get from a lot of first time home buyers. And the question is, well, can I overpay for a home, or I don't want to overpay for a home? So I want to look at that phrase, and I really want to break out if you can actually overpay for a home. Now, there is a difference between a first time home buyer or somebody that's looking to buy a home to live in and a person that's looking to invest. All right. I'm not talking to investors. All right. I'm not talking to investors. Investors is strictly about the numbers. So if you are looking to invest, make sure you understand the numbers. I'm not talking to investors. What I'm talking to, or who I'm talking to, are people who are looking to buy a home and live in that home. So can you overpay? Number one, there needs to be a benchmark. So when you say overpay, what are you basing that on? Because there's two numbers that we can look at really fast. Number one is the listing price, and number two is the market value. All right. The listing price is whatever the realtor puts the home on the market for. So if you don't want to overpay, is it overpaying from that listing price? That's pretty easy to know whether you're paying more than the listing price or or less than the listing price. That's clear. Now, as far as the market price is a little more tricky, okay? Why is it tricky? Because the market price is based on what buyers are willing to pay for their property, but you really don't know what a buyer is willing to pay for the property until the property is sold. So what do people usually do, or what do banks do? They use an appraisal system. Here's the thing about the appraisal. The appraisal, you can get five appraisers. You can have one property, and you can get five different numbers. Now they should all be close, okay? But five different numbers. So it's kind of like, okay, who's that person when they're saying, okay, you're overpaying for the home? Because you hear this as far as Dave Ramsey a lot, where he's like, hey, don't overpay. Um, but if you take a house, for example, okay, um, you take a house that's worth $250,000, all right, $250,000, and just say for argument's sake that you pay 280 for that property, okay, and in 5 years it's worth $400,000. Did you overpay? Did you overpay? I want to make the argument a lot of times you don't have enough information at that time to know whether you're overpaying or not. Because there are situations where people have bought homes, um, maybe like maybe it's a home that's $100,000 and they only wanted to pay $150,000. They wanted to pay $200,000. But if that value goes up to $400,000, now yes, I'm using an extreme example. But the reason why I'm saying it like that is because I want to drive the point home. You may not have enough information at that time when you buy the home, whether you're overpaying for the property. Why? Because you don't have the property's value in the future. Now, yes, you can guesstimate and you can look at trends and you can see exactly what's going on right now, but you're looking at present indicators. You're looking at present indicators. You don't know what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15 years. Okay. So I guess, okay, why am I saying all of that? Okay. Why am I saying all that? I'm saying all that because there are other factors that you should look at when you're buying a home. All right. Number one factor is the neighborhood. Why is the neighborhood? Because you can't change the neighborhood. Okay. No matter how hard you try, you want them neighbors to move. If they don't move, they won't move. As much as you want maybe people outside to be quiet, okay, it may not happen, but you can't change the neighborhood. Okay. Number two is the size of the property. Whether you want a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, you want a 5 bedroom, you cannot change the size of the property. Well, I'm sorry. You can change the size of the property. It's just a little harder, okay? To add a bump out or to add a room or to expand the porch or expand. You can do it, but it is labor intensive if you want, okay? The third thing is what? The third thing is the finishes, okay? The finishes, the light fixtures, the baseboards, the flooring, all that stuff can be changed. All that stuff can be changed. But when you're buying a home, you're actually living in the home. All right. So it's more than just numbers. A peace of mind. If you're living in a home where it's in a crazy neighborhood or you're cramped up and you don't have a peace of mind, how much is that worth? And then also, when you're buying a home, you're competing with other people. And this is probably the biggest things that people, first time home buyers, misunderstand. You have the list price and you also have the market price. Okay. But you're also competing with other buyers. So if the home costs 250 and just say it's on the market only for 200,000, it's over what the list price is. Okay. So what about the market value? Maybe the market value is only 230. Maybe the market value is only 230. But if this other buyer is willing to pay 260 for it, then that's where the value is. So again, if this other buyer is looking to pay 260 and you jump and pay 270 for it, okay? So now you pay 270 for it. Now, if the house is worth in 10, 15 years $400,000, did you overpay? Did you overpay? So as you can see, there are different factors in here than just, oh, well, the market price for that home is listed for 250 and the market value is only 255. So you're overpaying if you're paying 270 for it. I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. And again, this is not for investors. This is for somebody who's buying a home to actually live in. Because if you buy that home, you outbid those other buyers who were looking to come in at 260. You came in at 270, but maybe your family is growing and you want to get your family out that apartment and you want to get them into a space where they can run around. How much is that worth to you? How much is that worth to you? So, when you're buying a home, what should you look at? I think what you should look at is the payments. Are you comfortable with the payments? So, for example, if you get into a bidding war, how high should you go? If you're in a bidding war, you should go as high as the monthly payment is comfortable for you. That's how, in my opinion, that's how high you should go. So when they say, well, Khaled, we're in a bidding war, okay, how much should I bid? You should bid the highest that you're comfortable with. Why is that? Because you have to make the payment. I don't have to make the payment. So, and again, this is in abnormal circumstances, okay? In abnormal circumstances, like in some of these places, like in the county, like I'm in Philadelphia. So you have some places like in Delaware County where everything is going for over asking. Everything that they put up, like for example, Drexel Hill. You put a house up in Drexel Hill and you price it at its market price, is probably going to get into a bidding war because people, for whatever reason, want to live in Drexel Hill. Okay. So when it's like Khalid, um, what should I offer? I can definitely tell you what I can tell you what the listing price is because I see the listing price. I can also tell you what the market price is. Okay. Okay. Based on the comps, this is the market price based on the comps. Okay. But what's the outstanding factor? What's the X? The X is what other people are bidding. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm a very good realtor. Okay. I'm a very good realtor. But I don't know what the other buyers are offering because the seller agent is not going to tell me and he shouldn't tell me. Okay. So I don't know what these other buyers are bidding for the property. If I knew, then I could tell you, okay, just bid X or just just put your offer in at X. But I don't know that. And no realtor really knows that. No realtor really knows that. So what should you do? Okay? If you're in a bidding war. If you're in a bidding war, you should go up to the amount that you're comfortable with. Because what you don't want to be is, yes, you don't want to be house poor. Even if the home's going to go up to $1 billion, you don't want to be house poor with that monthly bill. So if you're in a bidding war, how high should you go? I just want to reiterate this over and over. How high should you go? You should go with what you're monthly comfortable with. What's that number? What number are you monthly comfortable with? Okay. So to answer your question and close this out, can you overpay for a home? My answer is it depends. Okay. It depends. What's your time frame? If your time frame is 10, 15, 20 years, um, can you overpay for a home right now? In my estimation, again, on it depends on your time frame. If your time frame is 25, 30 years, I personally don't see how you can overpay right now. I don't see how you can overpay. If you're looking to hold that home for 30 years, I don't see how you can overpay right now. If you go back, just go back in history. Go back in history and look at any time 30 years out as far as any home price, and you'll probably see a dramatic increase in the value of that home. So, can you overpay for a home? I think it really depends. I think sometimes just basing it on uh, what the listing price is and what the market price is at that point in time might be a little short sighted. And here's the other thing, okay? Here's the other thing. If you're getting a loan, the lender is not going to overpay for the property. How is that? Because during the loan they do an appraisal. Okay? So they do an appraisal. Now, if that appraisal, let's say that you agreed to buy the home for $300,000, but the appraisal comes in at 250, meaning that an appraiser went out to that property and said, okay, based on the comps, this home is worth 250. Okay. They're only going to give you 250. Even if you agreed with the seller to 300, they're only going to give you 250. So what happens at that point? What happens at that point is either that buyer brings that gap, that $50,000 extra in cash to the table, to the closing table, or the seller lowers their price. Okay. Or they meet somewhere in the middle. Okay. All right, y'all. That's it, man. This is Colin Nathan Lane, the real estate boy. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, I got you. All right, y'all.